If you're a tech professional, then you might have potential employers lining up to court you. If you join us as a software engineer, we'll give you $1,000 to tuition reimbursement every year, 3 weeks of PTO, and did I mention free catered breakfasts and lunches? I see all of your incentives and I raise you decompression capsules and G-bikes. 3 words: permanent remote work. But if you aren't getting invited for interviews, then something might be wrong with your resume. In this video, I'm going to take a look at common mistakes that I see tech professionals making in their resume, and mistakes that you'll want to avoid so that you can get hired by the likes of Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. I'm Kamara Toffolo, resume writer, LinkedIn consultant, job search strategist, and LinkedIn top voice who helps established professionals dare to do work differently and land great fitting gigs. I post new videos every week, and my videos will equip you with some of the most valuable information that will make your job search easier, because job searching shouldn't be this hard. As with most resume mistakes, the issues that tech professionals might be running into is that they forget or are having difficulty making their experience make sense to the reader. It's really important to be mindful and to remember that frontline resume reviewers, like recruiters and talent acquisition professionals, need to be able to read and interpret how your work experience and accomplishments can serve their hiring manager's business needs. If this is unclear in your resume, then it's very difficult for the recruiter or talent acquisition professional to confidently be able to put you in front of their hiring manager. Your job as a job seeker is to make it very easy for that recruiter or talent acquisition professional to put you in front of the hiring manager. And by avoiding the mistakes in this video, you'll get that much closer to an interview. One of the most common mistakes that I see on tech resumes is heavy use of jargon and acronyms. For efficiency, some companies might come up with their own languages, and often these languages don't translate outside of the company. And sometimes entire professions or industries will come up with their own languages as well that only insiders can fully understand. As the UI UX SME, I monitor incoming guts and troubleshoot GUI and API issues to make sure that B2B, B2C, and D2C experiences are WYSIWYG and CTAs are clear. What? The second a recruiter goes, huh? Or has to go to Google to translate an acronym or technical term, you've lost them. So on our resumes, we really need to avoid putting them in that situation. What can help is having someone who isn't a technical professional review and proofread your resume and point out any areas that they don't understand or words that don't make sense to them. Rephrase whatever they point out and use simplified language. For acronyms, you don't need to cut them completely from your resume, but you need to establish their first use in your resume. The way you do that is the first time you use a term that you want to use an acronym for further on in your resume, you need to spell it out in full and then follow it up with the acronym in brackets. This means that if the reader forgets what the acronym means, or if they need to translate it again for themselves, they will do so without leaving your resume. It's all about minimizing the work for the reader so that you're minimizing any obstacles or things that will get in between you and an interview. Another mistake that I commonly see on tech professionals' resumes is basically tech barfing all over the resume. We get it, you're a techie, but you don't need to share every single tech that you've ever used throughout your entire life. I often see tech professionals including almost like a full data dump of all the tech that they have proficiency in or all the tech that they've ever used throughout their careers or lifetimes, and this really doesn't serve you well on your resume. Java, C, Python, C++, Visual Basic.NET, JavaScript, PHP, SQL, MATLAB, R, Swift, Perl, Go, Ruby, Slack, G Suite, Asana, Monday.com, Zoom, and Microsoft Office. Again, it's a situation where we're creating work for the reader. It requires them to wade through an ocean of tech in order for them to finally pinpoint what tech skills you have that they want from you. So instead of highlighting all of your tech proficiency, make sure that you are clear on what your target job and target employer require from you in terms of tech proficiency, and highlight that. Usually required tech proficiency will be noted in a job posting, but if it's not, then you may have to anticipate what would be required from you. Again, don't name every tech that you have proficiency in, but the select tech that you want to highlight for your target job. Another common mistake that I see in tech professional resumes is relying on a former intern's or employee's resume and using it as a template. Every week I see a Google, Amazon, or Apple employee who's encouraging prospective employees to use their resume as a template in order to get their foot in the door with big tech. Hey guys, you definitely don't want to miss this LinkedIn post. I share with you the resume that I used to get a Google internship 5 years ago. This will definitely get your foot in the door at Google. Good luck, future Nooglers. I've seen and read several of these resumes, and often they are examples of what not to do in your resume. Resumes are only a part of the total job search equation. We don't know if these former employees or interns had a cousin who was able to refer them in. We don't know if they went to a college recruiting career fair and really impressed the recruiter. Resume templates are not a magic bullet. In fact, they give you a false sense of security. I detail many reasons why templates don't work and shouldn't be relied upon in my video about templates. What I want you to do is spend less energy worrying about how you're displaying the information on your resume and invest more energy worrying about the content of your resume and what you're writing in your resume and how you're writing it well. A number of videos on my channel will give you a peek into a very simplified structure and almost like the scaffolding for an effective resume. I'd encourage you to follow that. It's not a template, it's a structure, and it keeps order on your resume. What you write in your resume is what matters the most. This brings us to the final mistake that I want to talk about today. This mistake really reinforces why the content of your resume is everything. And if you get this right or wrong, it will have the greatest amount of impact on your resume and your job search. The mistake we're talking about is where tech professionals don't properly illustrate how they've demonstrated their skills with the creation of real-world solutions. I developed web-based applications. Okay, and what did they do? They were used by the users? Okay, and what was the result of the users using your applications? When you're writing about your work experience or responsibilities or the projects that you've worked on, you need to bring the whole idea and concept full circle and highlight the outcome of your work. And in doing so, you need to show the reader that you understand the business needs that you would be filling for the role for which you're applying. So let's say you developed web-based applications. What did that enable for your users, or what business results or outcomes did that create for the organization? Maybe you contributed to a big e-commerce project. What did that enable for the business that they weren't able to do before the project was executed? Or perhaps you QA tested integration of cloud solutions. What risk did you mitigate? Or what issues did you uncover, fix, or prevent? These are just a few examples of how you need to take your descriptions of your work experience or responsibilities or accomplishments over the finish line and make sure that you're properly explaining the impact of your work so that the reader can visualize you creating similar solutions or making similar impact in the role for which you're applying. They need to know that you can create real-world solutions at their company. At the end of the day, the single best way to make sure that you're avoiding these mistakes is always writing your resume with the reader in mind. You need to make sure that the reader is walking away with a very clear idea of how you're qualified to do the work for which they're hiring. And here's my cue for you. Are you a tech professional? Have you made any of the mistakes that we've noted in today's video? What are you having difficulty with? Tell me in the comments below. As you know, I make a lot of videos, but I also make free guides to help you in your job search. If you want my free cover letter guide and checklist or my free post-interview message guide and templates, you can pick those up by signing up for them with the links in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with a friend, and click on my face over there and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.